SC team, get the hell out of there now.
Aboard, Andy. It's not a go. Repeat, we are not a go. Think somebody made us?
I don't know. But we're finished for today here, ladies and gentlemen.
It happened already. It happened already. The dumbass.
The prom. Look at this. The fucking room. The room.
It's Ruggerio, thank God.
The fucking water heater blew.
The guarantee's gotta be expired by now.
I thought that was Tone Loc.
We'll send somebody up there tomorrow, stake the house out. Maybe we got a long-term problem.
Our records show that our repair department has some crews out here yesterday. Were you affected by any of the shortfalls?
Yesterday? No. The people next door have had some trucks go up there, I think. But no, we've been fine.
How about them? Do you know if everything's okay over there?
As far as I know.
Well, we'll go talk to them.
Probably you should. They're in them.
Pardon?
Nothing. They're different. For this neighborhood, they're a little different.
This a two Americas type of thing like a motherfucker. Hey, who would just start saying, hey, they're in the mafia and they have to hold back? That shouldn't even be a thought in your fucking mind. I don't care. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll go talk to them. What the fuck?
Good.
Fresh this morning, Ferraris.
How are things over on Bloomfield Avenue?
The Cuban was at the casino last night. And by the way, Big John's okay with a 60-40 split because we own the building.
What the hell? What the fuck? Is that Pat Parisi?
Oh, shit!
Dude. He's drunk.
Anyway,
Oh, he about to off himself in the
Go
backyard.
downstairs.
Oh, he about to piss in his pool or shit in his couch.
I don't understand this at all.
What happened at the Soprano house was the water heater blew.
Dummies.
A unit saw Ruggerio come back with a flatbed and haul the old one out. Anyway, we have to get this thing in there before Warren goes stale.
Boy, we've had every one of Tony's phones bugged for 4 years. But the guy says less than Harpo Marx.
Next Tuesday.
Why do you quarrel with him always?
Stop men at work. And how do we know it doesn't mean stop all men who are working? He shouldn't have taken a point off my grade. He thinks I'm a hak cabbie from Pakistan. Well, Liz, where are you going?
I'm going back to work.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry. Can you tell me, is the West Essex Language School around here? I was just wondering if I could ask you a few questions about the language school. How is it?
Hi, Eve. Hi, guys. Be back in a second.
Listen to this now. Hi, Abe.
It's not under the right duct anymore. Should we move it back?
What, 2 or 3 feet? Who's gonna notice?
Yeah. No, wait. Somebody might. But you got to figure, though, normal course of events, Tony will assume Carmela moved it back, right? Or the maid.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
This is Hunter, my friend from home I was telling you about.
Do you like citron jello shots? Actually, I haven't had any alcohol in a week.
I know, I was gonna say we should go over to Panchitos,
What
but
happened?
I remembered. Bad idea.
I went over to the health center.
That problem swallowing thing?
They gave me this prescription for Buspar.
That's for like anxiety, right?
There was like this weightlifter guy on the subway today, and he was eating these cacciatore chicken parts from this massive Tupperware thing and spitting the bones back in the container. And the whole car reeked.
Oh.
This poor blind man sitting next to him, I mean, you could tell he felt completely invaded.
Don't
We all
assume.
did.
He wanted some. The fuck?
You got a problem?
What, Tom?
I said, you got a problem.
I like being here.
You sure?
Yeah.
Don't say you're sure if you're not sure. Who was telling me you bought your daughter a nice house, after you came over with us? Yeah, that's nice.
Wonderful thing.
And your brother, bon anima. You've recovered from that shit there. You put your grief behind you. Let me hear you say it.
I put the grief behind me.
You got a younger son, too, right? You ought to bring him up to the house. You can hang out with AJ. We can get something to eat. They can go in the pool.
Fuck that pool.
Control, you hearing me?
Loud and clear. Leave the factory.
Roger that.
Wire's in, Bobby. I'm good to go.
Control, we're in motion. We have left the sausage factory.
Touchdown.
Dig, Soprano, come on, dig it! You want to join the football team? You think it's all for show and not for go? Dig in, you tuppet!
So I got a job for you. Right. Might get a little messy.
I understand.
Wet work.
Right.
I'll make it worth your while. Don't worry about that.
I'm not worried.
Look over here.
Minimization, 40 seconds.
Hilarious. I knew exactly what it
The
was.
other one blew. So if it happens again, you get the overflow and you put it over into the corner over there to a sump pump. You chip out the concrete.
4-0. Yeah, they're not discussing OC.
2 minutes. We're allowed to check back in.
Time, materials. I don't know how to concoct estimate.
Fair enough.
You gonna use this?
You want to take it?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'll use the bike.
No, I have to sort through Meadows' laundry anyway. She's gonna be here at noon to get it. Liliana's making her a leg of lamb to take back.
Back in Wuj, I had grant from the state to do an autonomous research.
Look, you got your workout clothes on. Why don't you use it? I'll take the bike.
Jesus already. No, you go ahead.
Stas said he could smell the mildew down here. Right, Stas?
You gotta open these
Oh,
windows
so
up. Let the
depressed,
place
man.
dry out.
Got some Russian girl coming in to take care of my mother.
Oh yeah, where'd you find her?
Agency. You know, I've had something stuck in my teeth for 2 days now. Jesus.
You gotta use the other floss.
Yo. First, let me start by saying don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure to hit the notification bell. Shout out to all the new viewers. Shout out to all the subscribers. And I started a Patreon with full-length early reactions to things like this. If you'd like to, check it out. Y'all think I'm going to add that to the beginning of my videos now instead of doing it in the reviews? You know, I was a lot more, I don't know, militant back then where I was like, man, fuck this. If they don't care about what I'm saying at the end, who cares if they subscribe? I care that. Them niggas need to subscribe. Anyway, let's see. Dope first episode for a few reasons, right? First, everything that was done in this episode was to lay the groundwork for this, you know, overarching theme that's going to be going forward. And that's the feds now having the ability within the house to listen to what Tony is saying in the only place in the house that they can catch him saying stuff, right? Because Big Pussy Bumpin' Sarah, he let them in on little things like that. They weren't able to catch the big fish, but they got enough details that they were able to get warrants to allow them to do this type of shit. And we got to watch them do it. As I said, I went through this and at no point was it boring or any of that. It was actually at parts like fascinating, like all the shit they were doing, you know, from the code names, from, you know, everywhere everyone had to be, all the techniques they had to utilize to make sure people don't leave or to keep sight on them, all the ways they had to tell people. And then you saw like little things like the, you have all these different departments in the feds, and then some of them are just so interesting. Like for them to create a light with the wear and tear, right? The wear and tear look of the original is dope, right? Like that's a whole job. You know what I mean? I like how they also had those makeup artists and shit. You know, people that like that's dope. You know, and so we got to see that. And then we got to see a lot of the Fed. Like this was the Feds episode, right? As I said before, okay, I will say as far as the extras would go, these were the least bad so far, right? Like they were, as I said, they make it a point where in Hollywood, especially on mobster shit or shit where I won't say he's supposed to cheer for the bad guy, but care more about the bad guy, they oftentimes will have us looking crazy at the cops, right? Anyway, I don't be cheering on the cops in movies anyway, but in this, it's like when we see them in situations like this and they just doing anything scumbaggery, we hold them to a higher standard because that's their whole thing. They are the standard by right of the government, right? So when we see them being scumbags and you know, degrading Adriana in such a way, grow up. Nah, I'm joking. It's just one of those things. So you're like, oh, shut up. Like if Tony does it, I'm perfectly fine with it. When they do it, I'm like, you motherfuckers, you scumbag bitches, right? Like them hating on Tony's house. That was some hater shit. Like, don't talk about like this. How much of the hating they were doing? Whoever wrote this understood being a hater very well, right? There's levels to hating. There's seeing someone in a position who you know, having the ability to acknowledge it and just never acknowledge it. There's being close to someone, hating on them, talking to enemies, stuff like that. On this one, it was the hating from afar, but there's levels to that, right? They saw what he had, hated on it. Then when they saw the tank on some hater shit, they knew damn well that the tank was messed up. I'm not saying, of course, they got to go tell Tony or nothing. I'm not saying no shit like that. But did you see the glee on their face that it was fucked up, right? And then the fact that they had something over him in that manner, they're like, maybe we'll let him know when we catch him on the Rico. You know, it's like, shut the fuck up, right? And then that came back and bit them in the ass because they had to wait a week, right? It was also interesting to see that warrant, how the judge was still letting them know, like, hey, yo, listen, they motherfuckers got rights too. You don't just get to, right? And he's like, y'all getting out of hand, so I'm gonna let y'all do this, but don't go out of hand. Certain days, you know, all that shit. It was also interesting to see, because I've seen this part before, where you can only listen for a certain amount of time unless it's something that leads to something else, right? And they have to take notation of everything they listen on. They got to notate it, right? And annotate. And on this one, we saw 40 seconds. Okay, they're not talking about nothing worth a damn. They can't go back in for another 2 minutes. Interesting. Then we got to see a little bit more of the maid, which was cool, and her husband. They said they were going. Now, this is what I wonder. Okay, 2 times in this, it made me go and look and see what time period this took place. It took place in 2001, but September 11th hadn't happened yet. And we know the feds, they always had been worried about terror. By the way, that was another one of them reasons why when 9/11 happened, all of us were like, but we thought y'all had this. We thought y'all had been working on this, right? Like, but 2 times they went, hey, I just want to run his name for shits and giggles. First off, he's Polish, so you know what I mean? Like, hater shit. And then later on, the guy, he talks about how, like, on some anti-terrorism shit, they go into the mosque. That he said at a mosque in Denver or something like that. They got some work to do on some anti-terrorism shit. And okay, so they mentioned that a couple times, and then they also mentioned the husband, and then the husband got a light shine on him, and he kept talking about how he had a grant for the engineering shit, and it makes me wonder how important he's going to be going forward. Like, even if he's not anymore, he got to shine a lot in this, but at the very least, he's going to be doing work for them in the basement, and I wonder how that's going to affect something, right? Because the way everything is set up based on this, how the basement is set up now. But if he does some engineering shit and has to come in there and do work, it's gonna shake up all of that, right? And who knows? Carmela may get to be like, hey, clean all this shit out. That lamp, yeah, all of this, get it out of here, right? Because they may change some shit around. And so you have that theme going forward. You have them showing us a little bit, and then there's also this thing in first episodes of we're gonna ease you in to the season, and we're going to give you a little bit of the stuff you love, but it's not gonna be full on just a straight up story. And you could get away with that on certain shows. Like this one, we understand how much the story carries and how dope the characters are. So at no point am I worried, right? Like even in this show, things were pushing forward. The whole point of this was for the feds to try to get Tony. So the fact that it takes a little like a little stop where we could just watch, right? Like, and we could just watch things take place. It was pretty cool. And there was moments in here where what they were doing was, hey, isn't it good to see the characters again, right? Like I said, I like to put myself back in the place of when it originally aired. So when you see Paulie and he's saying all that shit he's saying, I can see people like, yeah, it's good to see Paulie, right? Like, and then Silvio being Silvio, he over there watching golf in the later part of the episode. He just, and then he goes back, he gives his opinion, and then my man turns right back around and starts watching golf, right? As they're all talking. Then there's another part of the storyline. They laid certain things out. You have Spoon's twin. I can't remember his name, but he's still alive, and he was taken from Junior's crew, and he knows what's up, right? And he knows what's up because he knows his brother. He knows his brother was talking about shit. So he could imagine he brother get popped. He probably was like, oh fuck, they got him. He was mouthing off. But of course he don't ever want to think about that and all that. But every day he has to cover his smile. Just like old dude said. What was so dope about that is they don't make these guys out to just be animals and all like that. For that one guy to be like observant like that, like, yo, even though it has to be said, yo, imagine every day coming in knowing that somebody killed your brother and you got to smile in front of his face, right? Like, it's just, this what's crazy about this episode. He knows they did it. They know he knows. But we just gonna wait this out and see how it goes. Let's see if I can trust them. My man, though, he was over there and he pissed in a pool. He showed up with a pistol. And the dudes was like, what the fuck? So that's going to be a theme that's going to go throughout the episode. And then other than that, we didn't really see that much of what was going on with everybody. Got that tennis instructor all over Adriana. We got to see Carmela once again losing another man that I'll be joking and saying stuff, but at the very least, she just wants the attention of men. At the least. So when he's leaving, it's like, oh, what the fuck? Right, for her. She's like, ah, damn. Now, who knows if she was trying to throw it at him about that? Like, I was joking about it, but hey, but yeah. So we have the groundwork laid for this season. They didn't give us too much, and they didn't give us a little bit, though, right? Like, it was a full episode. And now I want to see what goes on with everybody, and even the Polish maid and her husband, right? Because they made it a point to show him. So I wonder how much more he's going to be in the series and what his role is going to be going forward. And then the amount they showed the feds, I don't know how much they're going to be in it themselves throughout the episodes, right? Because as I said, there's moments in shows you can kind of see how everybody looks where you like, oh, they getting, I don't know, they just look like they getting money. It's like if you go back and watch Everybody Loves Raymond, there's this moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is when the show was on top, right? Like, and like when you see Tony, it's this thing of he's Tony, but like, right? Let's see, man. Yeah. Okay. Next episode.